Telling the truth in today's cancel culture is not necessarily easy. You can pay a pretty heavy price for it, so I really appreciate everybody participating in this. It's a real shame that we're having to hold this roundtable. Had government officials, the heads of our healthcare agencies, had they been doing their job, had they been honest and transparent with the American public, we wouldn't be here today.
I'm a wife and a mom, and I'm a preschool teacher.
I'm a 29-year-old professional mountain bike racer and 3-time national champion.
I was previously an active long-distance biker and triathlete. I had no known underlying health conditions.
I'm 35 years old, and I spent most of the beginning of this year snowboarding and working out in the gym.
This is my daughter, Maddie. She participated in the Pfizer COVID vaccine trial.
I received my COVID vaccine when I gladly signed up for a clinical trial here in the United States with AstraZeneca.
I was a father of a 16-year-old son. A single parent. I raised my boy since he was a baby. We got the Pfizer vaccine because I thought it was to protect him. I thought it was the right thing to do.
I received my first dose of the Pfizer COVID vaccine on February 1st. Within 30 minutes, I developed a severe stabbing headache that later became a burning sensation in the back of my neck.
In less than 12 hours, she developed severe abdominal pain, horrible nausea, painful electric shocks on her spine and neck. She had chest pain, severe chest pain. The way she described it, it felt like her heart was being pulled out of her neck.
I got right facial tingling, back numbness, throat tightness, tachycardia, wild fluctuating blood pressures, severe right-sided headaches and brain fog.
I'm intermittently dizzy. My vision is blurry. My right pupil is not dilating properly. My right leg has extreme burning pain, and I also get muscle spasms and twitches.
I went to bed at 10 o'clock at night and woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning paralyzed. I had a blood clot in my leg. My entire spinal cord had swollen and hemorrhaged. I aspirated on water.
They said it was safe. Now I go home to an empty house.
2 days after vaccination, I got in my airplane to do a job that would take only a few hours. Immediately after taking off, I knew something was not right with me. I pulled my airplane up to turn around and felt an extreme burst of pressure in my ears. Instantly, I was nearly blacked out, dizzy, disoriented, nauseous, and shaking uncontrollably. By the grace of God, I was able to land my plane without incident, although I do not remember doing this. I've had 6 spinal taps over 8 months to monitor my intracranial pressure, and 2 surgeries 8 weeks apart to repair the fistulas. My condition continued to decline, and my doctors told me only an adverse reaction to the vaccine or a major head trauma could have caused this much spontaneous damage.
I soon saw a neurologist who diagnosed me with transverse myelitis, a rare condition that involves a demyelinated lesion of my thoracic spinal cord.
I see a neurologist, rheumatologist, cardiologist, gynecologist, neuro-ophthalmologist, and physical therapist, among others.
I lost my ability to speak naturally. I have become unable to walk without a walker and never know if or when the tremors will come or go. I can no longer cook, clean, or even pick up and hold my baby for too long before my body begins to shake uncontrollably or is thrown into excruciating amounts of pain.
She can't walk. She's in a wheelchair. She has an NG tube for all of her nutrition. She has constant pain in her stomach, back, and neck. She can't feel her legs, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Today, I am an unemployed paraplegic who's learning an entire new lifestyle. And the only thing I did between full health and my current condition is take a shot.
I have been bedridden, unable to work, and unable to exercise for months. I fear that my career has officially been ended.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to fly an airplane again. This vaccine has taken my career from me and the future I have worked so hard to build.
My career of 19 years, that I took almost 14 years to train for, is likely over.
They did everything in their power to hide everything that happened to her. And that is why this is happening to all these other people and kids.
They murdered my son. And the other people that are suffering, these kids, with all these side effects, that's child abuse right there. I mean, why isn't something being done?
Assuming the FDA and the CDC would be alarmed at my diagnosis, I expected to be contacted soon after my VAERS submission. No phone call, no contact. In fact, weeks passed. I then contacted the CDC myself. They acknowledged my VAERS submission, but stated my reaction was categorized as not serious, as I had not been hospitalized and I hadn't died. One word describes how I felt in the first few months after my diagnosis: abandoned.
We did video conferences with Peter Marks and Janet Woodcock, constant emails with Janet Woodcock and myself directly. We have literally asked and we have begged repeatedly for them to acknowledge these reactions. They declined.
This experience has shattered my life. Like all of you, I know where you are. The 24/7 tinnitus has robbed me of every moment of silence and peace. The impact on my medical career, which I love and work so hard for, is immeasurable.
I deserve to be heard and treated with compassion, but instead I have been called a liar and a fake, and I have even been told by the ER doctors that this is all in my head and that there is nothing medically wrong with me.
Among the folks that have contacted our firm are many physicians from across the country who themselves have suffered vaccine injuries. One of the things that I often ask physicians who contact the firm is, will you make public the failing of our public health agencies? And that often has the same reaction as well. And that is one of immense fear. The fear of retaliation from public health officials and the medical establishment.
After I reported to my command my concerns that in one morning I had to ground 3 out of 3 pilots due to vaccine injuries, the next day my patients were canceled, my charts were pulled for review, and I was told that I would not be seeing acute patients anymore.
Everybody sitting here today, all of the physicians and the medical professionals, PhDs who are attending here today, their careers on the line to come here and do this. It should not be that any physician should have to, quote unquote, risk it all just to advocate for their patients.
I know many mainstream scientists and medical professionals who, similar to me, think that the current narrative is extreme and wrong. But very few of them are willing to speak up. Any attempt to deviate from the main narrative today is faced with a wall of hostility, rejection, and even elimination from the government, including funding agencies, from public media, and worst of all, from the scientific community itself.
Legitimate scientific challenges have been set aside or dismissed as, quote, misinformation, unquote. I worry that young scientists may be reluctant to disclose evidence on vaccine harms. Being labeled as an anti-vaxxer could be a career ender.
I'm saddened that we are supersaturated as a society right now in the attitude of everybody knows. But if hospitalizations and deaths were almost exclusively occurring in the unvaccinated, why would booster shots be necessary? There's something not adding up, and we should all be asking, is it true that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated?
People should not be coerced or bribed to choose between their freedom to bodily autonomy or their livelihood and being injected. This is a human rights, social justice issue. For everyone suffering for everyone being pushed, guilted, and frightened into taking this thing or not taking this thing. I see you. I hear you. I believe you. I love you. I am you.
Once we leave here, they're going to forget about what we said here. Thanksgiving, I'm going to spend at the cemetery. Christmas at that cemetery.
I will continue to fight. I will continue to research. I will find an answer for people. Or I will die trying.
I would like to finish with a letter from a friend. Bree. I cannot take this any longer. This has taken everything away from me. My career, my family, my life. My body will not stop attacking itself. And this is beyond the worst amount of torture. They have further erased my very existence. Please accept my apologies. I must bid farewell to this world. Please tell our stories. Please make sure the world knows the cruelty that has been imposed upon us. Goodbye, my dear friend. I will see you on the flip side. If the government won't help us, if the drug companies won't help us, who will help us?